Good afternoon. Today we're talking about the translation strategy into results. You remember first time when we were talking about the translating strategy, that means the implementation phase. We mean the execution phase. We are not in the strategic formulation. We put already the vision and mission and clear objective as a leaders for our subordinates or for direct reports. And now we are doing the implementation phase. In this phase, we agreed upon the essential elements of a strategic execution, which was the focus. What do you mean by focus?
Focus on objectives.
Focus on objective, thank you so much. Focus on what we are going to catch up or to accomplish within the strategic formulation. Thank you. And the next step is the accountability. And this is the subject for today. We are going to dig deep in the accountability element. Okay? The third step was the engagement. What do we mean by engagement?
Involvement.
Involvement, thank you.
To make people involved to achieve the strategy.
To involve people in one goal to achieve the strategy. Thank you so much. And the baseline is the sustainability. To sustain the culture for all people, for our direct reports, to reach the execution phase of the strategy. Okay? Now we are going to explain more in depth the accountability phase. What do we mean by accountability?
Responsibility.
Responsibility. Thank you, Ahmed. And what else? Doing tasks that responsible for. All right. So there is a big difference between responsibilities and accountability. And we are going to clarify this part in particular. Accountability means that we choose the right person to do the right objective at the right time. All right? Accountability is when you and your team know what exactly must be done to achieve the objective and who will do it. As we said earlier, to choose the right person, doing the right things at the right time. All right? This is the principle of accountability. But what do we mean by responsible?
Responsible for a specific task.
Responsible for a specific task, for a particular task, thank you so much. The responsibility is different between the accountability. Everybody can be responsible for doing task or for doing something, but only one person as a leader is accountable for the outcome. Is it clear? So we are going to talk in depth about the accountability, not rather than the responsibility. And we need to inherit our accountability or to cascade the accountability to the rest of the people. Okay? The accountability comes from top to down. From the top management to the middle management as a leader, and we cascade our accountability or some authority or some accountability to the direct report, to the lower level. Thank you, Ahmed. There is a question. Are people in your organization held accountable or they are accountable? Do you think in our organization our people are accountable? Yes or no? Why? Why they are not accountable?
Accountability for one person to be responsible for the outcome.
Thank you so much. So the accountability is related to our as a leaders. Okay? If we have another leader or peer or colleague already, their title or their position as a leader, they are accountable or responsible for what they are doing in the objective, right? How do you hold your team accountable? We are as a leader, we have team under our supervision, and we need to put this team accountable. What do we do? Take 2 minutes. You have already a post-it note. Share ideas with yourself. It's an individual exercise. So you have 2 minutes to write down how to hold our people accountable. I see a lot of answers. Just only 2 or 3 maximum, and that's enough. Anyone would like to share? And are you ready?
Yes.
How do you hold your team accountable?
First thing, we can assign tasks for them.
Yes, sure. So
Uh,
we assign tasks. All right. What else?
motivate them. to
Motiv-
different-
motivation.
Yes.
Thank you. To do their task or to do the objective.
Through different methods.
To do different methods. Yes. So you have your own methodology to motivate people to doing the tasks. And what else?
Set up system.
Thank you. To put a system, a clear system. You mean automated system like your job as an IT?
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Camera system,
What else?
Attendance.
Attendance, follow up.
Follow up.
All right.
Asking for weekly or daily reports.
Asking for reports. Thank you. So these things to hold your people accountable. Am I right? All right. How many people should be accountable for something? One person. You have another opinion? Why you said one person?
Only one person should be accountable.
Only one person should be accountable, should be asked for the outcome we agreed upon on the first things in the lecture. Thank you. So the biggest challenges in the accountability is when we share accountability. Like we know, you know the matrix organization. All right, let's have the matrix organization here in our flip chart. Some organizations, it's called a matrix type. The matrix type, there are a CEO or general managers, and there is already a different functions like IT, like marketing, thank you, like HR, and the claims, customer service and claims, okay,
Call center.
call center, and many different functions in one organization. All right? If this organization like this is called functional type of organization. And if the organization has a project A and project B and project C, all right? And these projects and these departments have already people assigned to do the task or the objective of the same department, and doing also at the same time the task for the project. So this person, he or she, is reporting to 2 direct managers. One for the function, it's called IT manager, and the other one for the project manager itself. So one person could have many direct managers. This is what we call a shared accountability or a sharing responsibility. So we have some organization like matrix organization, it's possible to share our accountability. All right? So we don't have a capacity for controlling their capacity. We have to control their capability, as we are going to see on the next slide. Many people people might have the responsibility, but only one person have to be accountable for the outcome, as we agreed. We will talk about the challenges of accountability right now. When are we effective at holding accountability? When we are effective to hold an accountability?
Crisis.
At crisis, thank you.
Prison.
Okay, we have agreed already as our example on the first slide, that Captain Solly and the movie, and this is the real story. Captain Solly already crashed with the bird and the two engine, and he has to land on the rivers. You remember the story? The story was about he was effectively, and he and his co-pilot effectively executing the strategy to take the decision immediately to land on the rivers. This is what we call when we are effective at crisis, like Hussam said. Let's do an activity. Activity of challenges. And your workbook, please open page 17. And into teams, I'm going to distribute you as a team. Okay? Team 1, 2, 1, 2. Alright? 1 will be together and 2 will be together. Haytham and Abdullah will be together. And then Hussam will share together as a team. This is team A and this is team B. On page 17, I need the answer of question 1. And can you read it for us? The question 1.
What challenges do you face in holding people accountable?
Okay, there's a many challenges in holding our team accountable. I would like to share, Hussam, share the challenges you faced with your team to hold the team accountable. Haytham and Ahmed, put as many as you can the challenges you faced already to hold your team accountable. And we have 5 minutes. Share it together. It's not an individual. It's a participant activity. One more minute. Ready? Ready?
Yes.
Okay. Who would like to be the first? Help. Thank you. Share the top 3 or top 2 challenges you faced, you and Hussam.
Okay, the first one was the resistance
Okay.
of the direct reports.
Okay.
Uh,
So you have challenges that the direct report resist what you have said. Okay, for the objective or to execute the strategy. Thank you. What else?
Second one, the lack of resources.
The lack of resources. What do you mean by lack of resources?
The resources not available for the people to be more accountable, help them to be accountable.
Okay, thank you. And what else? What is the last thing?
The culture.
The culture. The culture of the, you mean the organization culture
Organization culture.
or the individual culture?
The organization.
The organization.
Sometimes they are not fit with the culture.
Sometimes the culture of the organization doesn't fit with the clear objective or the clear strategy or obvious strategy to all. Thank you so much. Ahmed, would you like to share?
Yes. Work under pressure.
So you face the challenge of work under pressure.
Yes.
The people you mean.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
KPIs.
What do you mean by KPIs? It's not clear enough, or it's not settled already.
Yes. Yes.
There is no KPIs.
Yes.
That's why this is the big challenge you face on your team.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And, what is the last thing, if you have?
The clarity of the goal.
The clarity of the goal. Okay, and we set the objective, and as we are moving on the slide as today, we are going to know the set of objective or the clear of the objective. It's already inherent or already impacts our team, right? Thank you. This is the challenges. Keep the challenges as is, as we are going to use it for the upcoming slides. All that you have mentioned is within, believe it or not, is within our influence. So we can control these challenges by some approaches. Every leader has many approaches or different schools to control over the challenges you face, right? Okay. As we said, or as we are going to say this is what we call a discipline yourself. I remember the story of Kellogg. You know the brand of Kellogg?
Yes.
The cereal food corporation. Yes, the cereal food corporation has the case study in France. The sales remain constant on the certain level, and the profit become to the declining phase. So the president, she hired to solve this problem, and she begins with herself to put a magic roadmap for herself, a clear objective for herself to follow or to be aligned with the strategic objectives. And she told to the senior levels of leaders, as we are, put the roadmap for yourself, and then cascade this roadmap to the rest of your team. You know what happened? After a while, the cereal or the Kellogg itself was a top 5 sales promoting in France. All right? So the clear objective, as you said, Ahmed, this is the crucial things. All right? Let me ask you a challenging question. How do you hold your peers, I mean your colleague at the same level? If you are Hussam's colleagues and you don't have the authority over Hussam, and Hussam hasn't a position over you, how do you make Hussam or Hind or Ahmed Abdullah accountable for what he is doing? Challenge. Competition. Thank you.
Setting competition between each other
will help to remain your peers accountable as if we need. All right? So let me challenge you more. What if you have another branch, let's in Alexandria or in France, like Kellogg, we hope so, inshallah, and you have your team member is already hired for that branch, and you rarely see her or you rarely see him. How do you keep your direct report accountable with long distance? Try to think about it. Audit.
Regular reports.
Regular reports. Ask the direct report for submitting a regular reports by using an IT system or solution. Quality. What do you mean by quality? To put the standards level for something and to put the progress report. Yes, thank you. And you have something to make it with your direct report if it's long distance as an HR. Measures. Thank you. What kind of measures we use usually in the HR?
Effective one is
KPIs or KRA, for example, key performance indicator or key result achievements. Thank you. This is what we call a challenge. We have first, remember, put it in the framework to discipline ourselves, like the president of Kellogg dead already, and try to ask people on the mid-level or on direct report to discipline her or himself. Accountability bring various challenges, tremendous challenges. There is a lot of challenges we have faced on keep people accountable, even if we are keeping ourselves accountable for something, right? And we have, as we said, different approaches, different schools that already talked about how we be accountable or how to get to hold people accountable. I will give you some examples and additional concepts as if in the slides. There is a process tension. We are going to dig deep in this process. And there is a capability analysis, as we have said earlier in this session about what is the difference between capability and the capacity of the person. And the last thing in this session, we're going to see the lovely thing about this course is effective feedback. How to give people effective feedback. All right? What do you mean by process tension?
Putting under pressure,
Putting people under pressure, thank you, Hind.
maybe through deadlines.
Maybe through deadlines, through progress report, as Hussam mentioned, through the quality standards, through the systems. All right. So process tension is keeping people towards achieving the result, but under the monitor system, under the monitoring of us, under the monitoring of maybe system, KPIs, maybe following up,
Auditing.
maybe auditing, thank you. All right, what else? Reports, okay? So we can monitor people or putting people under pressure, like making the follow-up, regular follow-up, or monitoring system, or asking for the feedback. Okay? What other methods do you have already using as a leader? You mentioned about IT system
Yes.
or
Camera system.
surveillance system. You mentioned about the KPI. You mentioned about the weekly report or a standards level. So we have different schools about what tool we have to be used to put people under process tension. All right? The best practice and the science tell us that the best practice is to put the measures inside the people and it's already visible. So you cannot manage what you cannot measure. This is the golden rule of management. All right? You cannot manage what you cannot measure. So the measures is there for quality standards, but it has to be agreed upon between me as a leader and you as a direct report. Like KPIs, for example. If we took the KPI, for example, we have to agree both ways on what am I going to be measured for to achieve the result. This is clear?
Yes.
Now moving to the capability. There is a difference between the capacity of people and the capability of people. As the science said, told to us, it's important to consider team member capacity versus the team member capability. And we have a control over capability, but we don't have a control over their capacity. Why this? Why we have the control over capability, but we don't have influence over capacity? Because of what we have said earlier. Sometimes the big challenge is the shared capability. When we share the capability, we cannot, when we share the accountability, we cannot have the influence over their capacity. Because the people or direct report are direct reporting to 2 or 3 or maybe 4 according to the matrix type. All right? Now we are going to focus about the capability. How we as a leader have the influence over the capability. DDI already initiate the success profile, which was called about the success people has a certain profile, 4 quadrants. First is the knowledge. The second is the competency, the experience, and the personal attributes. What do we mean by knowledge?
Know-how.
Know-how, thank you. Knowledge, what people know about their job and how to do it in a professional way, or on a professional level, or in a personal level. So the knowledge is the information, is the data that we have to take the decision and knowing the right decision at the right time, as we have mentioned. What about the competency? What do we mean about the competence? What do we mean by competence?
Skills.
The skills, thank you.
How can I
This
do?
is the brilliant thing about the HR.
How can I do?
How can I do it? So this is my skills. This is my
Know-how.
know-how, or how to do it. All right, back to the slides. The success profile, it's about the knowledge and the competency. Competency is the skills like Hind mentioned, and also about the behaviors, whether positive or negative behaviors. All right. Experience. What do you mean by experience?
Your previous experience.
Your last experience, what you have done before inside the job, what are the success stories that you have achieved before. And the last one, the last quadrant, is about the personal attributes. We mean by personal attributes who people are, personal dispositions, motivations, about the job satisfaction and the job success or failures. We learn from our failures. We learn from our faults, right? Okay, let's do an example for this quadrant. The success profile, I put to myself, let's remember the Keylock story. It's a case study about the president, what she did to solve this problem. She began by herself first, discipline myself. So I put example for objective for me as a leader to conduct negotiations and signing the contract with one of the big multinationals in Egypt, for example, by the end of December 2018.